How are you doing?
I'm okay. My first virtual press junket, so I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing
Oh, I've
all
been doing these since March. This is old hat,
right. Nice,
you
nice.
know?
Yeah.
So let me start by saying I've seen 9 of the 10 episodes of season 5, and it
Amazing.
is spectacular. I
Thank
absolutely
you.
loved this season.
Oh,
Um,
thank you so much, Steven.
did,
Appreciate that.
did you notice? Okay, I have to ask. So you obviously this is the 5th season of the show. Did you
Sure.
notice when you were getting these scripts that like the size and scale of this season was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, we had certainly discussed it beforehand. I mean, as you know, I was a fan of the books before I knew it was being adapted, and book 5 was one of my favorites. I knew it was coming, and there's so much payoff. The stuff that has been kind of cooking for the last couple of years. When Narain and Ty and Daniel and the writing team started discussing with us what the plan was, we knew that the potential for what we could pull off if we hit it would be really great. And I'm so proud of this season. I think it's our best yet, and I'm excited for the fans to see it.
I I I don't think the fans are prepared for how good this is going to be.
I'm
Um,
so glad.
like I can't say enough how much I loved the season. The
Thank
thing
you.
about this season is that, and this is spoiler free, obviously, is
Sure.
that this has been building up. The last 4 years have paved what you are getting in this season,
Yeah.
and everyone is separated in a way that is not hasn't been done before. Can you sort of talk about how everyone is on these individual paths?
Yes, yes, the structure is very different. Um, and it because the structure is different, it also is kind of when the events happen, it's a little disconcerting, having been familiar with the story a certain way for so long. I mean, for Holden, he arrives in the beginning of season 5 more confident than he's ever been in his leadership skills, so to speak. His feet are firmly on the floor, but his family scatters out into the system. And then all of these events occur, and suddenly the culmination of what you were saying, of all of these things that have been building for so long, uh, come to the fore really dramatically. And they're alone. All these characters that we've seen go through these things with each other are alone, and it's a very different kind of tone. And there's a kaleidoscope of different ones. So the feel of it is very different, and I think it speaks to the confidence in the writing. We've always been blessed with great writing on this show, but to have such a dramatic creative risk taken in the 5th season of something successful is very rare, and that really it just speaks to Narain and Ty and Daniel and their leadership in guiding this story through. I think the fans are really going to dig it.
Besides your own storyline, which obviously doesn't count, which of the other storylines this season were you like, wow, that is really good?
Yeah, I think my favorites and the ones I've been looking forward to seeing as a fan of the books was Amos in Baltimore and Naomi going after Philip. I think those two storylines were some of the moments that having read them so long ago, I was really waiting to see how they would be done, and to kind of explore the past of these characters that we really haven't. We've seen hints of, but we really haven't, explored as much as I think everyone would like to have seen. It's got that suspense of that, and the payoff is really big. And then also seeing Drummer's storyline of what happens with her inactions of seasons past, and what the consequences of that are. And we get to see a very different kind of social dynamic than we've seen as well. There's a very different domestic dynamics we see from these folks, and different sides of these characters that we haven't seen. So I would say that those 3 were the ones that I was looking forward to seeing, and they all crushed it. Obviously, I mean, they're all so talented.
Uh,
Um,
100%. I could devote the next 20 minutes to talking about them, but
yeah,
I'm going to switch to something else. I am both. I'm super bummed that season 6 is going to be the last season on Amazon, but yet I'm so thankful to Amazon for saving the series and allowing you guys to know, okay, season 6 is going to be the last one.
that's right.
Um, for you, what does it mean to have this sort of chapter, like closing, if you will? And what can you tease? When do you start filming?
Well, I will say that I'm grateful for it too. You know, I've done this long enough to know how rare it is to have the ability to tell a story on your own terms, beginning, middle, and end. That is very, very rare to have. And it's this story has been so important to everyone involved. We've really given it everything to try and make it the best that it can be. And to know that we have the ability to close it our way, um, I'm deeply grateful for. Deeply, deeply grateful. And you know, the end of season 6 is and the end of book 6 is a satisfying place to stop. So I'm deeply grateful for that. And as for me, you know, this whole journey has been you know, the greatest creative experience I've ever had. I mean, I've been doing this a while, even though I'm young. I was in the union, I think 2001. And this is the first project I've ever been behind the camera on. And I've learned so much, and it's a story that I've cared about deeply for the entire run of the show, and I'm incredibly proud of it. I'm incredibly proud that that we're going to be able to finish this story the right way.
Sure. Now let's ask I'm going to ask you again. When does it start filming? What can you tease?
Oh yeah, so the beginning of next year. The beginning of next year is when we start, but I can't go into exact dates, but it's the beginning of next year. So, you know, book 5 and 6 is kind of one movement. If people are kind of out there, you know, obviously we deviate a little bit through the guidance of the authors within our writers' room and executive producing. But I'm excited to get into it. You know, if they like season 5, they'll love season 6 as well.
Sure. How long does it actually take to film a season? And has it changed at all over the 5 seasons? Like when you're making it at Sci-Fi, it was say 4 months. At Amazon, it's been 6 months.
Sure. Well, it depends. You know, the episodic orders have changed over the years, but it's roughly between 6 and 7.5 months, depending on what they have been over the years. I mean, you know, our shooting style didn't change really that much. I mean, we always try to improve the structure of how we do things, but we always, even, you know, from the beginning, shot it assuming that it would be streamed. So you know, it's about half a year shooting, and then we spend the next half of the year doing post. So it's a full-time, full year commitment. As you know, especially with a show like this with so much VFX and whatnot. Post is a long process, and they do beautiful work. I mean, you know, the effects are spectacular. So yeah, it's a complete year. It's a complete year of work.
Got it. Again, I just want to say congrats on season 5. It is fantastic, and I hope to speak to you again, I guess in a year or sooner. But seriously, congrats. People are going to love this season. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Good seeing you.